Hey, welcome back to another episode here on the podcast. Wow, it's been a very long time since the last episode. It's been such a busy few weeks, and I just thought that it was the perfect time to actually start recording another episode because, my life is kind of slowing down at the moment. I've got 1 week left of work, thank God. It's been a very, very chaotic few weeks with work, but it's been really fun. I've made so many new friends and I've just met some incredible people with the kids I've been working with and the staff I've been working with as well. I was really scared that I feel like if it's, when you go to a new job and you go to a new place and you just don't know if you're going to get on with the staff and if you're going to be that person in the corner eating their lunch on their own. That's what I was scared of. But because all the staff were really similar age to me, it just all happened naturally. I thought it was the perfect time to kind of start thinking about what this episode is all about because it's the middle of August and I know a lot of people are now starting to get ready to go into university. People in the year below me or my age, 18, 19, ready to go into first year of university. And I know how scary that is. And I feel like there's never enough preparation for it. I knew nothing before going other than what my brother had told me, what I'd seen on YouTube or TikTok, and that wasn't a lot either. I feel like a lot of YouTubers or social media people didn't really talk about what it's like to go to university. And I had so many questions, but like all of us, we were just kind of thrown into it, especially because of COVID. We were the first year post COVID, I guess, to have a normal year. Although it wasn't really that normal because there was still the threat of COVID and we had a lot of online learning this year. And I know that a lot of the bigger subjects, the bigger courses like STEM, economics or maths, that kind of idea, like their lectures were still all online, which to kind of dive straight into it with the online learning aspect, I think online learning has really benefited me because you can choose when to watch the lectures as long as you do it before a certain deadline, and you can kind of just choose when to do everything and fit it into your schedule. But at the same time, it made me way more reluctant to do the work, like a lot of people. And I know a lot of people at my university at Warwick, because a lot do maths, and they've got a lot of lectures. I mean, a lot, because they have so many modules. And I just remember just seeing them every single morning, night, middle of the day. Every day they were sat in the kitchen together or in the library together, just going through all these really long lectures online of just videos of just maths. And I just thought how boring that was. But at the same time, I thought it's your own fault if you're leaving it to the last minute. But yeah, I don't regret my course in that aspect because I didn't have a lot of lectures. I only had lectures for linguistics. Languages were all in-person seminars, which I was really grateful for. At the time, I moaned about it, but then I know that now, as I go into second year, I'm going to have a lot more in person. And that sucks because I'm living obviously off campus. So that's going to be very annoying. And I just hope there is no 9 a.m.s on a Thursday after hockey socials on a Wednesday night. But I just kind of dove into that. So I'm just going to take a few steps back. It's the perfect time to start talking about the concept of going to university. We are all, I feel like the most important thing to know is that everyone going to university has never done it before. I met one girl at university in the first few weeks at hockey who had done first year before at a different university, but then dropped out of that and moved to Warwick to start again because of COVID. And she didn't like her course, she didn't like the university, and that happens. But 90% of people's never done university before. Everyone's similar age to you. No one's done it before, especially since COVID. Freshers in particular was a big thing. A lot of people I knew there hadn't really had much experience with going out and drinking and partying. In a way, I was thankful that I did have a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of experience, but I know how to have a good time, is what I'll say. I know how to party, I know how to drink, blah, blah, blah. But I know that for a lot of people, it must have been really scary because they didn't know what to do. But at the same time, we were all in the exact same position. I do want to talk about Freshers Week first. Oh, it's so weird. I think it's weird at any point. It doesn't matter if it's COVID or not, but you just chuck together literally just hundreds and thousands of 18, 19 year olds, and you just know what's going to happen. Like, it's just a free for all. It's just weird. Like, in that concept, it's weird. Very weird. Um, and in other concepts as well, like, no one talks about how lonely Freshers Week is in the daytime. Yeah, you got some days where it's the society fairs, or you might arrange with the new friends you've made to go for lunch, or maybe you know people from school who are at the uni and you go meet them one day. But other than that, it's quite lonely. You might just be sitting in your room all day, probably hungover, um, still unpacking, still reorganizing, and you just don't know what to do because you don't want to start work, do you? It's Freshers Week and you don't have any work to do for kind of the first time in your life, which is amazing. I love the summer before university because it is the one summer you have, the first summer you have, where you don't have any schoolwork to do because you've finished. And that's amazing. The one thing to remember in Freshers Week is that nobody knows each other and no one knows what they're doing. It's just a whole new concept of life. And if you've never been independent before or alone, that's scary. I was grateful that I liked being independent and I liked doing stuff on my own. I remember the first morning of getting up and doing a morning routine, even though I was hanging out my ass, but I just loved it. It was such a vibe, honestly. And then you like explore the gym and you just get to explore the little town you're in. But at the same time, it's so weird. Especially the thing about loneliness. Like in the days, you don't know like if your flatmates are morning people or like you don't know what their timetable's like. They might be going and doing other stuff. So you don't really know whether to go into the kitchen and you're a bit scared to go into the kitchen. The first few weeks that was the case for me, but because I was one of the first people to move in, I was kind of thrown into the role of getting to know, like not forcing, but like introducing other people to like each other as they all moved in. So I was like, oh, hi, I'm Ellie. Um, I moved in, and like I just found myself being that person, which was weird for me because I did not think I was extroverted like that, but I was. So that was a big thing for me. But at the same time, I was kind of just thrown into that role. But I in the first week, I think it's almost vital to just go out of your comfort zone and just go to not all the events, but go to as many as you can and don't be scared to go into the kitchen. A lot of people talk about at uni, like the first few weeks of you run to the kitchen when you hear someone leave and that's empty so you can go cook your dinner or something. But my flat all year, we were pretty much always all in there, especially for dinner times. We all kind of made dinner around the same time. So it was always busy in there. It was just the mornings when I was the only one ever awake so early. I never saw anyone till at least 10 a.m. and I was up at 7 most days all year. So that was a really nice time to wake up and it was just me. But other than that, there was always someone else in there and I loved it. But I know a lot of people do find that scary. But what I'd say is definitely make the effort to go into the kitchen and just hang around and say hi. You will get fed up of saying your name, where you're from, and your course in the first week because that's what Freshers Week is about. You get to know each other, you get to know friends, and it is so good. It's such a good feeling, especially doing a course like languages when you're at a freshers event at night or whatever and you say, oh, I'm doing this course, and then the person you're saying that to says like the exact same thing. I love that feeling. So you get to know people already, and then you get each other's Snapchats. I removed people's snaps literally a week after. I removed so many people because I knew that I'd never see them again. Because you just meet so many people. Another tip is to definitely take a pack of beer and something like homemade or just some food, that is always such a good way to get kind of into the crowd and just get your name known. What I did is I took a crate of, I think it was just Stella, just average beer, and I think I baked cookies. And then for like the first night, because it was a Saturday, that was like the first event, but obviously not everyone was there because people were moving in all weekend. But I took that and just chips and dips and put that out, and then you're instantly just ticking the good books to everyone because you took that, and everyone slowly does that anyway. And that's just such a good vibe, I think. I would say though, for Freshers Week, or the first like just 2 or 3 weeks of uni in general, everyone is wandering around like lost puppies. So the like label fresher is stamped to you. Just everyone just knows you're a fresher. If you're walking around campus looking completely lost, it's quite obvious. So don't try and pretend you're not when you're at a club event or something, because people will know. People know if you're a fresher. I'm just excited I'm no longer a fresher, to be honest. Kind of more advice now. That's more Freshers Week. That's kind of the first week getting into it. But be yourself. I know you might be sick of hearing that, but being yourself is so important in Freshers Week, because you don't want to make a whole group of people being someone completely different and then they like find out who you are, or you live up to their expectations or standards and you realize you don't like that and that's not who you are at all. That is the worst feeling in the world. So just go in there completely yourself, and I don't know, maybe you'll inspire other people to be themselves. Just be confident. And I know that's harder to, it's easier said than done, but just throw yourself out there. It's so difficult to do, and I hated doing it, but it does pay off, especially for societies. And this is the next thing I want to talk about. I would highly recommend joining a society, at least one. Society fairs are so fun. You get so much free stuff. Always pizza, ice cream, t-shirts, all of that kind of thing. So many pens and tote bags, but it's worth it. Just go to all of the stalls you can and just sign up to loads of stuff. You'll get their like Instagram page. You don't have to go to them because usually you have to pay like a fiver to join a society, etc. But you don't have to go to any of them. Just sign up with your friends. You know, there's a society for everything. I was telling the kids I was working with over the past few weeks, they were saying, oh, is there this society? Is there that society? I was like, yeah. Every university website will have an A to Z of societies, and there's hundreds of them on there. Every sport you can imagine, every music genre, every ethnicity, every video game, I don't know, whatever you like, there will be a club for that. And that is one of the most amazing things about university, because you will find people pretty much exactly like you. And I will stand by that, honestly. With the being yourself thing, there is a lot of pressure to kind of fit in your first few weeks at university. But then you have to remember that what exactly are you fitting into? It's not like you've moved to a new school where everyone else knows what they're doing. No one knows what they're doing. These particular standards maybe that you've created are created by all of you in that year group, in that cohort, and you're all new to it. So why are you trying to live up to standards that don't yet exist or don't exist at all? Because university is not like school. Because yeah, you just, everyone just doesn't know each other, and it's just so great just to start over. That's what I loved about university. It just gave you that chance to move out of your little hometown and just be yourself again and just not be scared of starting over. And I know how scary that is for people. And I know that might be harder if you perhaps go to a university where there's quite a lot of you from your school. I was actually quite happy that there's only two of us, maybe three. And I haven't seen that girl, and I want to meet up with her, but we just never have the time. We see each other in the gym from time to time, um, but we always say we're going to go for lunch or drinks or something together, but we never do. So I'm definitely going to try this year. University is great because you get to find what you love to do. You might decide to join a society that you never thought you would, but then love it and meet new people. And it's just, oh, I just can't stress enough that excitement I get just talking about it, because you just get this whole new opportunity just to find new things you like, find a new sport, a new hobby, you know, a new like book society. I don't know, just anything you want to try, do it, because no one will judge you. You don't have to tell anyone you're in that particular society. Now, the pressure is big. Again, I'm going to stress that the pressure is created by yourself in a way, because, again, no one knows what they're doing. But then as a fresher, it's put, oh, no, let's coin a new term, fresher pressure. Well, no, let's not coin that, but, it might be a new thing. You are pressured as a fresher to, especially in societies, to drink, to fit in, to join a society, to be okay. There's so many different pressures within the first year of university, and it's not talked about enough. The first one I want to talk about is the kind of fresher pressure in societies to drink, to smoke, to do that kind of wild side of things. Again, I drank before, I went to parties before, so it wasn't like I was starting as an 18-year-old who never was allowed to drink at home. I was not like that, which was good. And I could down a pint, which was helpful for hockey because that's what they do. And it was scary the first social I went to. That Wednesday was very scary because I missed the first social the week before. So I stood out like a sore thumb. But at the same time, they were so welcoming. It was really weird because I thought they were going to be nasty because that's what I expected. But everyone was just so lovely. And I don't know, it was just a great experience. Yeah, I got wasted. I don't remember it. I remember it the first hour, and then I remember waking up at 7 a.m. the next morning, not knowing what time I got back, still in my gross social clothes, and it was not fun. But it was fun at the same time. But there is always going to be that pressure to drink and smoke, I think. Smoking, maybe not, but the drinking thing in socials. Most societies I know of do sober socials as well. Even sports have socials. At hockey, if they say if you don't drink or you don't want to drink much tonight, that's okay. Just let them know and get a pint of squash or water instead. And they will accommodate that because they're not going to force you to drink because that's wrong. And they know the peer pressure. Going on to that peer pressure, there is perhaps more of a pressure to drink and smoke within, like, not a society, perhaps with your flat. You might fall into the, not bracket, but you might end up being in a flat with people who drink and smoke and do all that every day, all day, even past freshers, just all the time. And you might not be that person. And that would suck. Yeah, it was kind of the other way around for me. I was more of the partier to start with, but then I kind of dropped back a bit, but I'll get into that. But if you are feeling very pressured to do those things, just have that chat with them and say, I'm not drinking, I'm not being funny, but I don't want to do it. You don't have to do something you don't want to, even if the pressure is real. You don't have to do it. When you start clubbing as well, maybe this can be an 18 plus kind of moment as well, but with clubbing, the pressure, not pressure, but I guess pressure to smoke, especially when you're out clubbing, is quite high. Just because the main time to catch up with friends, or the main place to go if you want to break from the dancing and the sweaty rooms, is the smoking area, which is usually the only outside bit of a club. And if you go out there, most people light a cigarette, get their vapes out, smoke, and it's okay. Like, to start with, I went out and I didn't touch a cigarette or a vape or anything like that. But then I did feel a bit pressured because I thought I was the only one standing there, not with a big yellow brick in my hand, or whatever colour. But then I did start doing it, and I still do it a bit now. But, like, that's okay. You don't have to necessarily not smoke because you're like, oh my God, it's so wrong. But don't feel pressured to do it, even though the pressure is really high in those smoking areas. Someone might just pass you their cigarette, and say no if you don't want it. I started by doing that, but then I found that I kind of liked it for a bit, and then I realised, wait, no, Ellie, that's wrong. Stop doing it, it's not good for you. But if you do it again, that's fine, that's you. You're young, like, it doesn't matter. That's what I've learned. I can drink and smoke. I'm literally 19. I've just turned 19. I've literally got the whole life ahead of me. And that is another thing. This is probably the biggest point. First year of university is not about work. I'm sorry to break it to you, no one cares about studying in the first year. Maybe if you're medicine, it's a bit different, or if you've got to pass certain percentages, blah blah blah. But for the most part, the first year of university is literally just about letting your hair down, getting to know everybody, learning how to be an adult for the first time in your life, learning how to be independent. It was funny watching all the boys do the washing for the first time, or clean up, or organize their room. All those little things you don't think are big because your mum or dad do it. They're big. Luckily, not luckily, but over COVID, my mum said, I've had enough. So we did our own washing, which was good. I've learned to cook. I never actually learned to cook. I just cooked. Like, I can just cook stuff because I cook what I want. It's usually just vegetables and some like couscous. Like, the meals I make at uni look really good, but they're just so easy. It's just a one pan, whack it all in kind of vibe. Takes 10 minutes. But that is another thing. Like, a lot of people don't know how to cook the first week. They don't know how to budget. It's a struggle, but you get to know it. And that's what all the first year is about. It's not about studying. Obviously, that is the main reason why you're there. But then the first year is all about making new friends and just joining societies and just drinking, having fun, and literally just letting your hair down. That's what I didn't grasp until the last term, when I fell back in love with going out and just having fun. I hated it for the first 2 terms. The first term, I felt pressured to do it. So I did the hockey socials, I did the weekend outings, I did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights most weeks, and I was burnt out. And that's something to keep in mind, that you don't have to go head first into the deep end. You can gradually build it up. You can start off heavy and then slow down a bit. And that's what no one told me. And I got really sad because I was about to drop out of university. Kind of, I don't really want to get into it because I have talked about this a lot. And it was partly seasonal depression, I guess, because I do get that most years. And it was partly that, but also it was the burnout of being so social after 2 years of COVID. I hate bringing the pandemic into it, but it is true. Like, I had never been that social in my life, and then suddenly I was out all the time, not remembering nights. I just didn't like it. And I thought that I loved partying and I loved drinking and I loved being social, and then suddenly I hated it and I was really sad about it. So I got the first train home that night, week before Christmas, the Christmas break, and I just got a train back the morning after I had a really heavy night and I just didn't remember it and I hated it. I got a train straight back and just said, I'm not going back. Of course, I had to go back the week after to go get my stuff for the Christmas holidays, but I just cried for about a week straight and I just aired everyone on social media, and I just fell into this pit of, I just hated it. I just hated the concept of university and no one knew why. And I remember my sister then, when I did go back, I don't really know why I went back. I don't think I should. I don't think I should have gone back, but a couple of weeks after, in January, my sister came to stay with me from her uni in Warwick. So she came to stay, and she said to me, kind of the day when she was leaving, she was like, I'm really sad for you because I can't see why you wouldn't like this university. Because she kind of wanted to come and see that, oh, I didn't get on with my flatmates, or the building I was in was gross, or the university wasn't nice, or like she wanted to come and see a reason why I didn't like university. And then she came and just, she was sad for me. And I was like, I know, I don't understand why I don't like it here. But then things did get better because I started to learn that you don't have to be social all the time. I took about a month or two out just for myself, and it was the best thing I had ever done. I wasn't very social, but I still put my head in the kitchen. I got my new routine up with the gym and just my morning routine, and I just I got better very slowly, but I got better. And that was all down to you learning that you don't have to be social. You don't have to give in to these pressures as much as you think you need to. I thought university was about drinking and smoking and partying all the time and not caring about how you feel mentally and just going along with it because you think that everyone feels that way. Yeah, I think the first year everyone does get to that stage, especially at the end of the first term or the start of the second term, where it is the winter blues anyway, and everyone feels a bit shit because, you just feel a bit lost because, I don't know, I feel like everyone just feels that way. And that got really deep for a second, but I'm glad I didn't drop out. But I think I should have dropped out at that point. I should have put it on pause and I should have re-signed up for this year or taken a whole year out. In a way, I kind of wish I wasn't going back, if I'm going to be completely honest. I wish I didn't put my name down for the tenancy this year, which is already paid for, already signed for. And I just kind of wish I went now on like a year out, because you can suspend your course, and you can have like a mental health gap year, I guess. And I do wish I was doing that. But at the same time, I'm so excited to kind of have a fresh start. And I wish I was redoing first year. I do really wish that, but I'm not. So I need to remember where I am right now and just think, you have come so far. You have beaten the kind of way I was feeling. I've got through that and I've learnt from it. And I now know that I can enjoy university without having to feel so pressured to do so. So I am going to go back to university with this whole new mindset, even though I just said I kind of wish I wasn't, but I am. And I kind of have to now. But at the same time, there isn't any pressure. If I don't want to, I could not go. But in a month's time, I know I'm going to be so excited to go because I love my own space and I love a new place. I love new routines. But I want to travel, and that is really annoying me right now. But this time next year, I'm going to be starting my year abroad. So that'll be exciting. So I'm just going to possibly just get a little like coffee shop job alongside my studying this year and just really enjoy the town I'm in. So I'm living in Leamington Spa this year, which is just near Warwick University. And that's a really pretty place, and just enjoy it. Enjoy the autumn in it with the leaves in the park. And oh, I'm excited for that. But I'm not ready for summer to be over. Do not think that I want summer to be over, because I don't. Because I've been working for a good chunk of it. So now I just want to enjoy the last few weeks. I'm home. Well, I've got a whole month actually, so ignore that. um, but yeah, I'm gonna get positive again for a second. But I'm excited to go back. I'm excited to do hockey again because I'm gonna do it. But if I feel myself not liking it, I'll just stop or just take it slower. And I was really thankful that the girls at hockey were so understanding of that. Um, so I will just take it slower. And even though now I love going out, I love drinking, I love cocktail nights, I love getting a bit tipsy. I don't really like being hungover, obviously. I do sometimes feel that guilt coming back in, but that is another thing entirely that I don't even want to bring up in this episode, because I bring it up in 90% of my episodes. So we're not going to talk about that today. So I am just really excited to go back to university and just explore it from a different point of view, with the kind of, I don't know, just the kind of idea that I've got of, this is your life now. And yeah, you might not want to be in it 100%, which is really wrong to say, because I know that I always advocate for do what you want to do and don't care what other people think about it and society's expectations and all of that. But I know that I'm going to university because I love studying and I really like the friends I've made there, and I'm just ready to give it another go, which is why I'm excited to go and to decorate my room. But yeah, definitely a thing to go off from that is that there's so much pressure to be okay during the first year of university, or just in general. You might put on this whole persona that you're this drinker and this social outgoing person like I was, but then realize that actually shit, you're burnt out and you need to go home, which is what I learned. And I just needed a big break, basically. I kind of want to say that it's also okay to call your mum every day, because for most part, for about 80% of my time there, I did call my mum most days. And I did cry on the phone to her a lot of those times. And there was a time, definitely from like January to March, where I cried pretty much every day. And that side isn't talked about a lot. I've seen TikToks of it, of like the good parts, but then there's also the bad parts of uni. But I don't see enough of it, and it's it sucks so much. I hate that. Again, just as I'm saying, like, you don't have to be okay all the time in general, but especially at uni, everyone will feel like that at some point, especially first year, because it's weird. It's such a different environment to be in, and it's gonna be hard. So just be patient with yourself. Give yourself the space to breathe from time to time, and just know when you are burnt out and you need that help, and you need to call your mum, or you need to go home for a few days or for a few weeks, like I had to. It's okay to not be okay. It's a really strange environment to be in, and you might not enjoy it as much as you wanted to. That's what really pissed me off. Was since I was about 10 years old, I was so excited to go to university, and the fact that I hated it really, really upset me. And that upset my parents, I think, as well, because they knew how excited I was to go. But then it was, and I am going to mention it, but the fact that I went with an eating disorder that wasn't solved in any way, and it only got worse since going. And I've only just started recovery. What? When was it? April? I don't know why I said that so like uncertain. Like, I know I started recovery in April, and the fact that I didn't see that I was still struggling until about March was ridiculous. Like, I don't know where I thought my mind was, but it was just not in a good place. I distracted myself with the idea that I was depressed and that I had nothing to do with that, but obviously it did. You're learning an entirely new routine and ditching the old ones that you learned at home. You're ditching your old friends for new friends, not necessarily ditching, but you're not seeing them a lot. You might see them once a month at the very most. And I didn't think I'd miss my friends, but I just missed the comfort of them. So I phoned them and I texted them a lot, and we all felt the same way. It was really reassuring to know that, even if we were in different locations in the country or the world, like, we all did feel that sense of, I guess, just feeling lost, that we didn't have our group together. And that's okay. Again, like, it's not the same as it was at school. I went with the expectation that I was kind of similar to school, and it is, but it's not. It's better. I know I'm kind of sounding like a moaning cow right now about uni, but no, I just wanted to give you advice that it's not all giggles and smiles and happiness. It is it is hard the first year to navigate finding who you are, because you haven't had time to do that, because you've had 2 years of A levels, and that's the hardest time of your life. The first year is about learning what you love, learning what you hate, learning who you are as a person, and yeah, just how to deal with that alongside of meeting new people, dealing with boyfriends, girlfriends, trying new sports, maybe getting rejected from like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much going on, and you have to learn to be an adult and live on your own. That is just all. It just throws into this whole mix of shit. So you're bound to feel shit at some point. So I'm just trying to. The whole point of me moaning is that I'm trying to prepare you for. Don't feel like you're the only one. If you do go down a similar route to me, it does suck. But I am grateful. I'm going to say that I am 100%. Honestly, I'm so happy that I went through that, because now I can go back with a fresh start and realize that university is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be just sad and gloomy. Like, I'm there to have fun. Yeah, right now in my mind, I just want to travel everywhere. But I need to keep telling myself that I can do that this time next year. There is a massive part of me right now that just wants to press the dropout button and just waste all that money, like literally thousands of pounds I've already spent on this rent and contract of my new house. But there's a part of me that does want to do that and just fuck it and just get a job here at home and just go travel. Like, I really want to do that right now. But that's just because I've been listening to other people's podcasts and YouTube videos and been traveling myself and been working and seeing my friends go traveling and wish I did take a gap year. Yeah, I wish I took one. But at the time, my school didn't believe in them. Like, it was so weird for people to have a gap year from my school. So I was pressured there. So maybe this is a wake-up call to you. If you don't want to go to university and you've signed up and you're about to go, don't go. You don't have to go. Maybe this might be your time to think, okay, I'm not going to go this year. Don't go to Dunelm, don't go shop on Amazon right now if you 100% don't want to go to university. I don't mean if you're just a bit scared to go. I mean, if you genuinely just signed up because your school made you or your parents made you, that's not their choice to make. Uni is not the only option, and I wish I knew that so much, especially nowadays where there's so many jobs online you can do. There's so many jobs you don't need experience for, and they'll train you on the job. And I wish I knew that. But again, saying all that, I'm just trying to make a whole pros and cons of uni right now. But the main pro is that I'm young, and I feel like if I start working now, no matter kind of what type of work I do, even if it is more of a younger job, like an online social media type job, I'm going to be working there my whole life. That is one thing that I keep reminding myself of. University is everyone your age and it's fun, and this is what I should be doing right now. I chose to go to university. The reason, like, if I'm being all manifesting and law of attraction, etc., if I didn't want to go, or if I shouldn't go and start my second year now, something would tell me. There'd be an event, there'd be a sign, something would tell me that I shouldn't go. And there's been none of that. The only thing that's been happening is that everything has been getting better and better in my life over the past few weeks and months. Yeah, I've had some down days. I've had loads of down days recently, but in a whole aspect of things, I've just got happier and happier. And I don't know, that just makes me so happy to think about, like, how far I've come since this time last year and the start of my uni life. Like, I am now ready to go to university, but just wish last year ran smoother. But then again, it taught me so much. It taught me that this year can run smoothly, and I'm really looking forward to that. Last pieces of advice, just quick fire, my advice to you. Be yourself. Definitely join a society. It's the easiest way to make more friends outside your flat. Add everyone's socials during the first week of freshers. You never know. Like, I know I said that I deleted a lot of them, but I didn't delete as many as I actually said. Like, just the odd ones I deleted, but a lot of them I am still in contact with. Be that person the first day in your flat to be in the kitchen, to be with that creative beer, to be the extrovert. Even if you're not and you're shitting yourself, it makes a difference, I promise you. Another one is that you might not get on with everyone in your flat, and that's also okay. I think our flat was really lucky that we all got along. Yeah, there was a couple of kerfuffles, and then cliques kind of came about in the flat. There was the more worky bunch, there was the more goey outy bunch, and then there was me, kind of in between, who wasn't really there a lot of the time. Honestly, I think everyone thought I dropped out because I just was never there. The first year, again, is about being independent, letting your hair down, having fun. Do not stress about academics. Yeah, you've got to pass the year, obviously, but don't stress about it. You don't have to be social all the time, every day. Definitely throw yourself into it to start with, but then if you don't like it, don't do it. A little jokey one is that don't be the person to volunteer to clean the kitchen all the time. University kitchens are disgusting. They're going to smell, they're going to be grotty, there's going to be weird stains everywhere. There's going to be someone who will refuse to throw that milk away. Don't be the person to clean up after everybody. Because I was, and people then started to expect it. But in a way, my OCD liked it. Like, I had not a lot else to do because my course, which is why I've changed course now to a more academic one. But being with languages, like, I didn't have a lot to do the first year, but I know it's now going to get really intense. And I've just changed to a more in-depth course. So I don't know. I'll see how that one goes. But Yeah, don't be that person to clean up because everyone expects it. I think one of the last ones is definitely make friends with those people on your course because those people will help you out massively. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm sorry it was kind of a moany one, but I hope you have kind of gathered some things from this episode, whether that is make you excited to go to university or just things you didn't really know about university. I just wanted to shed a light on the negatives, but also the positives. Trust me, I've made so many friends and I have had a good time, especially the last term where I prioritized myself to the max. I only went out when I wanted to, and those nights I enjoyed it. The nights where I felt pressured to go out, I didn't go out, and that's exactly what you should do. Like, just don't go out for the sake of it. Go out when you want to. I'm going to wrap it up here. So thank you for listening, and I hope it wasn't too complainy for you. But yeah, have a great day. I hope you haven't died from the heat wave. It's the last day. It's going to be like in the 20s tomorrow, which I'm so excited for, which is still too hot, but it's no longer 30 degrees tomorrow, which I'm excited for. I've got a week left of, not uni, a week left of work, and then I'm free. And then I'm going on holiday, and it's going to be an amazing summer. It's already been amazing. But yeah, thank you for listening, and bye.